best transit experience has been like when you're in a big city and you don't need to do a ton of research. You know that if you go to a bus stop or a subway station or a train station, that there'll be maps there. You can figure out your route when you get there, and that you're not going to have to wait for an hour for a bus or a train to show up. You can just be spontaneous and know that it'll get you to your destination. I think that's my best experience.
I definitely agree with you there in regards to larger cities. Mm-hmm. If you're lost, you can easily ask either a transit driver of some sort, and they'll give you the directions. Here in Saskatoon, we do have some very, very friendly bus drivers.
Yeah, for sure.
One time, I was on this route, and a regular who I rode the bus with actually fell asleep. Mm-hmm. And the bus driver noticed, stopped, woke them up, and said, "Hey, awesome. Your stop's right here."
Yeah, that's good. Good service.
Yeah, good service, exactly.
Yeah, one time I was on the bus. I've been riding this bus for like 6 months. Whatever, I got pretty friendly with the driver, and I was halfway through the school term, whatever, and he just started chatting me up, talking to me about, if I was a student, where I was going, that sort of stuff. And right before I got off the bus, he told me a really bad joke, and I'm a big fan of bad jokes, so that became our thing for the last half of the school year. We would just tell each other bad jokes every day on the bus. It was good, bringing that sense of community on the bus. I loved it.
That's a good service with a smile.
Yeah. The University of Saskatchewan is so lucky to have the U-Pass, and I think Saskatoon Transit is lucky to have the U-Pass as well. I think, something like 30% of ridership are students, and just, it's something that we hear about so often, how big of a difference having that U-Pass makes to the lives of students. I mean, when it's minus 40, you don't want to be biking or trying to find parking on campus where it's already super difficult. So, I think that U-Pass just goes a long way towards, making students more familiar, more comfortable with our transit, and hopefully after they graduate, they can continue to be using the transit. I think there's a great potential opportunity there.
So what do you think is the best way to keep those people on the bus after they've graduated? Because one thing I noticed when we were reading the profiles of other riders is lots of people said, I took the bus in university, but I haven't done it in years. So it seems like people do that for one phase of their life and then they don't stick with it. So what do you think we would need to do to keep all of these U-Pass users engaged in using transit after they enter the workforce?
Well, I think it would be affordability and accessibility. Right now, the U-Pass is a great affordable option for students.
That's great.
And not only are we having to pay for tuition, also our cost of living is going up. So when we look at the affordability side of coming out of university, that is a huge factor. And accessibility as well. We're going to different places in the city. We're not at one central hub at the campus community now. And
I just think we have to have a really shift in consciousness about transit, right? It's not just students or seniors or low income folks who should be riding transit. It should be everybody from Saskatoon, right? Like we have to start seeing this as a viable alternative to driving around the blocks 8 times downtown before you find a parking spot.
Yeah, that shift will also come with making transit cooler.
How do we make transit cool?
How do we make transit cool? Well, awesome campaigns such as this, and these are transit is one way to do so.
One thing people always mention to me is that they have a perception that transit's not comfortable, like that it's either the buses aren't clean or that the shelters aren't, maybe as comfortable as they would like. And I noticed Regina has just started putting up a bunch of heated shelters in the winter, which makes a lot of sense to me, and particularly on the busier routes. Sometimes you see 15, 20 people standing out there at peak hours. Yeah. So I think that would be a big